I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I still do this from time to time. I forgot to turn my volume on. Again, welcome to Drive to Quarantine with Styles, aka Driving with Styles. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Um, but let's get into it. So I saw this thing on Get Up. I don't watch much TV, um, but I do watch Get Up on Wednesday because they call it Culture Wednesday, and it's with Ryan Clark and Dominic Foxworth, and it's some good stuff, man. I enjoy listening to it and watching it rather. So there was something that went on this weekend with Juju Smith Schuster on the Steelers dancing on teams' logos before the game, and it became a freaking uproar for no reason. It wasn't said any time until he's been doing it all year. Nothing was said until this week. Same way with Colin Kaepernick was kneeling for a long time. Then all of a sudden, when someone peeped it out, now it became hysteria. So watching this Get Up, Dominique says something that I was praise dancing for, and here you go. It's about 40 seconds, 50 seconds of this. It's worth the full listen.
Ridiculous to think that somehow Juju dancing on motivation games. They don't show up on Sundays like, man, I'm gonna give it 75% to the is Juju dancing on?
Oops, let me start over. Looks like the audio wasn't on today. Man, who's the audio guy for this show? He is terrible. Let me replay it. Let me start over. This is again the Juju situation.
Think that somehow Juju dancing emblem is gonna make the game even harder. Guys have maximum games. They don't show up on Sundays like, man, I'm gonna give it 70. Juju dancing on the logo. Well, I'm going 100 now. Now I'm gonna go 100%. I was gonna save 25. But Juju out there going Usher on this logo, nothing means more to me than protecting this logo of this team. And this is the third team I've been on. However, this logo right here, how dare it's the Juju how dare he is clean and do moves like he think he Chris Brown. Think that somehow Juju.
Man, I know some fans won't like to hear that, but it's so true, man. It's funny how it goes back to like fans with these jinxes and they wear the same clothes before games and all that stuff. I understand that it makes you happy. It makes you feel better. But that doesn't really affect the guys on the field. It's like the people who are fantasy players and they get upset. Players really are not thinking about you. It's hard to hear, but I'm gonna give it to you straight with no filter. And they said it later on that clip, is that players play for themselves, for their teammates, for their coaches, for their family, etc. I mean, I understand the fans want to say, well, we pay for your salary. I mean, okay. Honestly, the TV deals pay for the majority of the salaries. I mean, if you really want to delve into it. So, if y'all really think that like this lot, like these clippings of players saying stuff before the game, etc., really truly matters, that really is telling you the players are not giving 100% and during normal time. And that's not a good thing. So if an opponent says something crazy, right? Let's say he says something about a player, and he all of a sudden the player says, "Well, I played harder this week because of that." So that means to me that he hasn't been giving his full effort every week. That's not true. But it's good. It's good fodder for the media, for the fans, etc. But all that stuff means nothing in the grand scheme of things. Now, what it can do potentially is raise your preparation during the week. Maybe you spend more time spending time with the attention to details. Maybe that is what it is. But on game day, it has no freaking factor, man. Once you get in between those white lines, that white rectangle, all that other stuff goes to wayside. It really does. And if someone says otherwise, I will look at them sideways, meaning, so what did you do the week before? That means you didn't play your best the week before. If you're relying on someone for someone to motivate you, that's a problem. It really is. Now you can create an edge, something to keep you going during the game. But if you're not giving 100% effort because you want to represent look, for me, I don't want to embarrass my parents. And I definitely want to embarrass me. So the name on my back meant a lot. There's not that many Hiles in the state of Louisiana, in the city of Baton Rouge, for example. There's only, I think there's 2. So I want to represent that name very well. When I was in high school, when I was in college, and on the next level, I want to represent that name. I'm sorry, fans. It's nice for you to cheer for us. We appreciate it. But on the hierarchy of whom we're playing for, I hate to say it's not number 1, number 2, number 3, or probably number 4. I'm just being honest. All right. And the next thing, I don't like talking about this because we have so many people who spend time on Kentucky basketball, men's basketball. I like talking about women's basketball because no one freaking talks about them. And the women's team is exceptional. That's a very good team to watch. I watch them every game. I haven't missed many games for a long time, since Coach Mitchell's been there. I haven't missed many games, even before that, because I just like women's basketball. That's just me. But the men's basketball, it's been a lot of freaking crap flying around. And, if you watch The Locker with myself and Anthony White, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we kind of talked about this. I'm going to reiterate it here on my show. First, I'm going to start with this Sydney, is his name Sydney McNeil? I think that's the kid's name. Let me verify that before I continue, because I wish I need a staff member so we can so they can feed the information to my ear. And I don't have to try to find it. As always, guys, you can hit me up on social media. Questions, comments, statements are always welcome. I can't remember. There's a guy from West Virginia. I don't feel like looking for it anymore. The guys from West Virginia had a good game last night. And the funny part about it is now we got people who are chirping about players whom we should have got, who we didn't get, all this stuff, and it doesn't make any sense. And I did some digging into this Sydney McNeil deal, right? And the thing about it that's frustrating, Sean McNeil, I don't know where I got Sydney from. Sean McNeil, okay? And the thing about it is, I looked into the story. He's a freaking junior, okay? So whom would we have sat down or who would we not have recruited if he came to Kentucky? That's the first thing. So that was that Hagen's class. So who out of that class would you remove? Quigley, Ashton Hagen. Who would you remove out of that class, all right? Second thing, like I said, he was a junior. The kid went to Bellarmine. No one else offered him and wanted to sign him when he came out of high school. He was at Bellarmine. And he, for lack of a better word, quit the team. Then he got himself back, and then he got to West Virginia last year. You look at his numbers, he had one big game last game. So now we are cherry picking on individual games. Again, in the recruiting class, all these guys we're talking about, and I understand the love for local kids. Whom would you have canceled out of the recruiting class to bring in Sean McNeil? Because he's a junior. He's not a freshman, he's a junior. Let's say he was a freshman. Whom would you take out of this freshman class? Not now. When we're recruiting, who would you have eliminated out of that freshman class if Sean McNeil was a freshman to include him in this class? Not one. So stop the freaking cherry picking. I'm going to say this again. There are too many fans, not just in basketball, they're in football too, who are sitting on that limb of that tree, waiting on the team to fail. Or they're sitting in that dark alley waiting on the team to fail. Don't say anything when things are going great. They're quiet. Then when things are going poorly, then they step out into the light. That's not a fan. That's not a fan. If you are that person, more power to you, but you're not a fan. If you want to bring that negativity to anything, keep it in your house. Don't bring it outside your house because it's not needed. Especially when you're dealing with young kids, it's not needed. So for you guys who are in the back room of the wagon, the train, BBN train, whom is just waiting for a team to fail, honestly, you're really not a fan. Now, I don't know how many of those there are because it's kind of weird on Twitter where people just can create accounts and bark like they are a real big dog, but they're really not because you're sitting waiting for things to go the wrong way for you to voice your opinion. I understand there's nothing wrong with being disappointed, frustrated, upset, all those words that comes to you. Like when I'm watching a football game, I go through quite a few emotions. That's why I try not to say too much during the game. I wait until afterwards. But honestly, if you are that person, I'm just going to be honest, you're not a real fan. It's really that simple. And it's maddening to read this stuff and see this stuff because people can become what they call them, keyboard thugs or whatever you want to call them. It's just not right, man. I just picked up my son the other day from basketball game, and I was talking with the head coach, and he's like, "Hey, you still wearing that Kentucky?" Because I wear Kentucky stuff every day. And he's like, "You still wearing that Kentucky stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I'm a real fan. I just don't wear it when things are going good. And this is really for football, not for basketball. And I've been wearing this for forever. I'll show you my closet. I have Brooks Brothers business shirts and UK t-shirts, long sleeve shirts. That's all I have in my closet, shirt wise. That's all I wear. So I'm a fan regardless. So if you guys are that way, please Just keep that negativity in your house. There's no reason for you to bring it out. All this fire, Kyle. All this. I've seen some. I heard radio. I heard people say on the radio that people calling that people that you should have been in the gym, not at this BLM marches. There's a lot about you, man. There's a lot about some of these fans. Anthony and I have talked about this many times in the past. They love you when you're inside the confines of the competition, but then when you get outside, some fans don't. Real interesting. All right, I got about 5 minutes. Get out of here. I still got some Christmas stuff too. I gotta wrap some stuff. So I saw this article about Auburn. I actually like the hire. And here's the deal about Harsin. He can freaking coach. You can't dispute that. Now, like in any situation, it's all about his staff. And people say, well, how is he going to recruit? He's not recruiting. He's the head coach. He's the closer. He doesn't have to be familiar with the surroundings, but he better hire guys who are. He can't hire those. I don't know how many people he's going to keep. He can't keep that same staff that was at Boise State and bring them, the whole staff, to Auburn with him. That won't work because those guys don't have a connection with the surrounding area. Now, I'm not sure if this is possible, but his best bet is to do everything possible to keep Kevin Steele there and that whole defensive staff. That's the first thing he needs to do, is keep that whole defensive staff. Now, secondly, he needs to find, he could probably bring in, if he wanted to, his offensive coordinator. I'm not sure if he's still calling plays as a head coach. If he has an OC, bring the OC with him. But all the position coaches need to be somebody who has some experience in the conference or who's been around Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Louisiana, Tennessee area so that they can hit the ground running with recruiting. Because that's what it's all about. Because the guy can flat out coach. That is something that I will hang my hat on. I will dispute anybody about the hire based on his ability to coach, his ability to lead a team. And the recruiting part it has nothing to do with him because he's not on the road like these other guys are. And I shouldn't say on the road. He's not in as much contact as these other guys are. He's the overseer. But if he comes there and wins and he hires the right guys, that's all that matters. Now, the thing about Auburn is they have to understand, just like, about to get on something else. They need to understand where they stand. Freaking Gus has won a lot of games against Bama. And they fired him. That's the tough part about it. Auburn needs to understand their history as a program. They are the second fiddle in the state. I know it's hard to accept, but that's the truth. Alabama rules the state. Auburn is second. Now, some of their boosters want them to be a perennial, I guess, playoff contender. Just like I freaking hear some of our fans talking about our schedule and how we're easing the schedule so we can get a bowl game and be satisfied, and fans are, that's bull. You just realized the freaking conference. We played a 10-game conference and was 4-6. It's a fucking tough conference. So your non-conference games need to be easier because our strength of schedule will always be good because we're playing in the conference. So fans are, we playing Central Michigan. We playing University of Louisiana Monroe. Oh my God, those are horrible. Why are we playing? Because we need time to freaking heal. We need time to get acclimated before we go into conference. Look at all the other conference freaking teams. It'd be different if some of the other ones were playing. Their 3 non-conference games were juggernauts. One out non-conference game is a freaking rival. Who do you want us to add? And it takes 2 teams to tango. A lot of these teams are not going to play with us because they're not going to gain the advantage of if they play Alabama, LSU. If they win or lose to Alabama or LSU or Florida or Georgia, it doesn't hurt their. If they win, they get a lot out of it. If they lose, it's like, well, they face a great team from the conference. If they play us, if they beat us, well, they play the middle of the road SEC team. If they lose or snap, they are hurting. So it takes 2 teams to tango. So we play 8 conference games. We play 3 non-conference, then Louisville. So who do you want us to play? Get at me. Who do you want us to play? And the same can go for us if we play a Coastal Carolina before this year. If we beat them, or Appalachian State, or a BYU. If we beat them, if they beat us, it gives them a little bit of a punch because they are a mid-major, so to speak. So there is the scares and people think it's easy. Oh, well, we can just get Ohio State whenever we want. No, we can't. Ohio State won't play us. It doesn't benefit them. Just being honest. All right. I'm up against the clock. Give you 5 minutes off. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope everybody have a wonderful and safe Christmas. And I won't see you on Friday. So I will see you next week on Monday. You guys take care. Stay safe. And I'll see you on next week on Monday.